What is going on, everybody? It is time for another Pop Culture Crisis movie review that is actually a movie review this time. Today we are going to be reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine, the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe release. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I definitely went in with low expectations because I'm not usually a fan of Marvel movies in general. But this was, I hated it.
Yeah, okay, so first let's give some context here, guys. First, you have not seen the Deadpool movies.
Yeah, I didn't see the first two. I felt like I was missing a lot of references, not only to the first two, but references
all
in general.
All of the Fox X-Men movies would have gone right over your head. So guys, just take that with a grain of salt.
Didn't do my homework.
Yeah,
I didn't do my 27 hours of homework for this.
So here's the thing. So in the movie, Deadpool finds out that his timeline is under threat from a rogue member of the Time Variance Authority, and he has to go and seek out Wolverine to try and help save his timeline, and then chaos ensues. So basically what the story is Wade now, he wants to, unlike in the previous movies, he actually wants to be part of a team. One of the through lines of the original Deadpool movie is that Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead keep trying to get him to join the X-Men. He keeps calling them losers, and he doesn't want to join the X-Men. He wants to be on his own. Well, times have changed. He wants to get back, and he wants to feel like he can do something that matters, because his life feels meaningless because he's no longer Deadpool anymore. He's just Wade Wilson with a stapled on wig. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's the impetus for this whole movie going forward. I think that's the biggest through line. And what's funny is I wrote like a couple of pages, like one page of positives and one page of negatives, and they kind of all run together. But I think one of the biggest things here is this is a movie, first and foremost, that you will have had to do your homework on, because there's an unbelievable amount of, look, meta humor and meta storytelling is a huge part of the Deadpool franchise, but the amount of inside baseball related to both Marvel industry news and superheroes is extremely prevalent in this film, which, here's the thing, if you love that, I loved every second of it, and I enjoyed every minute of it. If you've never paid attention, or even if you're just a casual and maybe don't care, the funny bits might still be funny, but it may be hard to connect with. It's definitely a guy's movie in that respect, where even if you don't get that humor, there's enough violence, gore, and dick jokes to make you laugh the whole way through, which is, look, if you are going to this movie, you're a fan of this character, and this is a hallmark of the character.
Yeah, it definitely felt like this movie had something other Marvel movies are lacking.
I'll tell you what it was. It was able to make fun of Marvel itself.
Yeah,
that was, I think, the biggest thing.
It didn't take itself too seriously.
It dunks on the entire multiverse saga.
Yeah.
As a whole, and they dunk on 20th Century Fox as a whole. There's some jokes in here that I was actually shocked Marvel let them get away with, or at least some words in here that I was shocked Marvel let them.
The R.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, even though they're not calling anyone that word, I was surprised that one made it through.
Sure.
Right.
But I thought they were taming this down from the themes that were in the first two. Like, there's no nudity, for instance.
Yeah, and look, there was no need for it here. Look, in the first Deadpool movie, you can say whatever you want about nudity, but it at least fit into a period of the film where Wade and Vanessa are getting together, where it makes sense in the story. It's not just randomly thrown in there in a fight scene. It had to do with the love story that was connected to it in an R-rated movie. Now, the cameos in this movie are expansive, and I mean endless cameos. And if you love that, I had fun with each and every one of them. The one negative to that is going to be that it's going to feel like after the first viewing, they spend so much time building up the cameos that it may feel like it's dragging down the pace on rewatch.
This is going to be more of me reviewing my movie-going experience than anything. But when they did the cameo with Blade, this guy in front of us...
Spoiler alert, guys.
Literally, like, he was hooting, he was screaming and throwing his hands in the air, and the entire theater was just losing their minds. And I was just like, okay, like we're doomed as a species. Like I just don't understand.
Look,
I don't understand having that much of an emotional reaction.
These are franchises that span 30 years. So these are people that have deep connections with it. I will say something that's funny about it. And again, guys, we have given spoiler alerts. It's going to say spoilers included on our review. So the cameos that seem to mean the most to people were the oldest characters, right? So the Fox X-Men characters, Elektra and Blade, which are all characters that run back. Our audience had no reaction to Daphne Keene's X-23, perhaps because she just looks so much different now than she did in Logan in 2017 because she's grown up, and maybe they didn't recognize her at first, so they didn't really have much of a reaction. And big spoiler alert, Henry Cavill shows up as a Wolverine variant, and I think they actually did his makeup and the hair so well people couldn't tell at first.
So Wolverine is the anchor being of this Deadpool's universe, right? That's why he needs him.
Yes.
I still felt like he was a prop almost in the movie. He didn't really have anything to do in the movie. At least it
he's there as the
to
straight
me,
man
except,
to
literally just except to tell Deadpool to shut up. Like that he was just like, stop being so funny, Deadpool.
Well,
shut up.
Okay.
Like that's all he was doing.
No, because there is a whole story through line about the suit, about his Wolverine suit and what that suit represents and what it means that I actually think could have been its own movie. Like on its own, the story of his guilt and what he did. Look, but the problem is they already did it. They already did a fantastic redemption and final arc for Logan, so they kind of had to bring it back and do it in a different way, and they connected it to the Wolverine suit from the comics, which is actually important because one of the biggest complaints people had is that you never got to see Logan Wolverine in that suit in all the 20 years that he made movies, and they tried to make like a secondary story out of it, but I think that the story would have been so compelling they could have done their own movie on it, but it wouldn't have fit within this story. One of the things that the original Deadpool did do a little bit better, I think, is that it connected the raw humor and the earnestness of Wade's intentions and motivations more cohesively, meaning that in the original movie, what Wade wants more than anything, despite all the jokes and the violence, is he wants to get home to the woman that he loves, and he wants her to love him anyways, despite the fact that he's trying to find Francis so that he can fix the face that he deformed. And those moments were connected, it felt to me, a little bit more thoroughly in the original. This was written by the same group of people as did Deadpool 1 and 2, just different director in 1, 2, and then 3. So Sean Levy, I think, did a good job with it. The audiences, yes, they were absolutely engaged throughout this film, and we can critique that all we want, but this is what Marvel needs. They need audiences engaged, and they need people to whoop with and clap.
I'm not the target demographic.
Also, I would say that they did, when it comes to cameos, so did we go see Doctor Strange together, like in review it here? Was that
Multiverse of Madness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. They were so much more respectful of the cameos in this than they were in Doctor Strange, where they just used them as cannon fodder and then they were just killed off instantly. Okay. Whereas these cameos, whether we're talking Elektra, Blade, they had something to do and they actually worked to drive the plot forward.
See, you're making actual observations about the differences between all of it, and for me, the whole thing is just a massive eye roll.
Again, not the target
every silly
demographic.
moment is an eye roll. Every heartfelt moment is even more of an eye roll for me. I understand that I'm not the target demographic. I guess I understood some of the references to the industry-related stuff because that's stuff that we talk about.
I mean,
but
even
as far as
Colossus
references to like all of these previous movies, I was lost.
Yeah, there was a lot of inside baseball. If I had a couple of critiques, I would have shortened some of the action scenes just a smidge. I thought they went on a little bit long. The opening one was like the best one in the movie, and it went on just a hair too long, but I really like.
They make a lot of use of the soundtrack.
Yes. Oh well, yeah. That's a hallmark of the franchise. And when Bye 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 by NSYNC kicks in, it really gets started. It kind of does what I actually when I pitched. So Joker Folie à Deux coming out this year, and that's actually how I imagined Joker doing the violence in that movie. Is a song plays as they just
slow-mo
murder tons of people,
yeah.
And that's literally what they do in multiple points throughout this film. And I do think that Deadpool and Wolverine have great chemistry together. I think Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have great chemistry together, but they spent more time keeping them from liking each other that it kind of it hurts the pacing of the movie, where it's like the pace feels like what it should be is it should be ramping up into it from a sprint into a run, and it's a sprint that keeps slowing down for them to fight and then pick back up, and then it jerks the pace of the film a little bit, which, to be fair, if you're a dude and you're just watching it and you're looking for the references and the cameos and the violence, I don't think that that's going to bother you. I think every time they end up fighting, most of the audience was completely engaged anyways. And I also think that for the most part, the amount of people that showed up, although this isn't a direct critique of the film, shows just how important these actors were to these franchises, because Marvel has been very, very lackluster in their Thursday night box offices, at least around here, when we've gone to see movies. And we had 5 theaters playing this movie, and all of them were busy. Yeah. So, guys,
I'm willing to recognize that they're doing something right with this.
I think
it's just
the willingness to critique their own work is probably the part that's going to win a lot of people over, right? They're to laugh at the stuff they've done wrong. The joke that Deadpool makes about coming in at a low point in the franchise proves that they understand.
It's a little bit of humility.
It means they can't play dumb anymore because they seem to know what's going on. So, guys, maybe take this as this effort that if you're a dude, go with the bros, and if your girlfriend doesn't care about these movies, just leave her at home.
See, that's the problem, is that it felt like the violence and the jokes and the cameos took precedent over the movie having an actual plot. I know it had a plot, but that was kind of a sideshow. I think it might hurt you a little bit because you don't pay attention to the previous stories. Like I followed it all the way through, from Mr. Paradox to all the characters to the sacrifice. Like, it made sense to me. So it was there, but I do agree that there were at very least pacing issues, but I don't think that that's going to prevent anyone from going to the theater. I think if the idea is that you know your target demographic, you know what your target demographic wants to see, you're giving it to them with this movie. So guys, just let us know down below. Did you go see Deadpool and Wolverine? Has Disney just crapped the bed too much for you to care? The theater for us was very busy, so I would be interested to know whether you guys went and saw it, whether you liked it. Leave us a comment down below, and we will be back with more Pop Culture Crisis movie reviews here soon. Later, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.